Did you know eating disorders are not usually about food? So literally no one ever tells you this. Eating disorders are not about food. They're psychological. They're about worth. They're about control. They're about containment and the quiet fear of taking up too much space in a world that keeps rewarding you for disappearing. So food is just the surface symptom. The real battle is internal, and we don't restrict to be thin. You restrict to feel safe. You don't binge because you lack discipline. You binge because your nervous system is screaming for regulation. Dr. Hilda Bruch was the first to say eating disorders aren't about food. They're about identity and control. Bessel van der Kolk proved the body stores emotional stress when the mind can't process it. That's why behavior makes sense before it makes sense to you. When life feels unpredictable, the body becomes the thing that you can govern, the only thing that you can control. Some people control money, some people control emotions. I controlled food. Because when everything else was chaos, the plate was the one thing I could organize. And believe it or not, an eating disorder is not about calories or carbs. It's a story tied to them. If I eat, I lose control. If I gain weight, I lose love. If I take up space, I lose value. That's not hunger. That's fear, wearing a mask and covering up the pain. It's looking like discipline, but it's pain deep inside. Dr. Robert Sapolsky showed how cortisol shuts down digestion and slows the gut. It causes swelling, bloating, constipation, and that's not a weakness. It's physiology under attack. And this is how gut issues begin. So I've had eating disorders since I was 13, and over the past year, I've been fixing those. I've been fixing a lot of my bad habits actually, because I've had a lifetime of them from trauma as a very young child. So I thought if I had the perfect body, the face, the schedule, the house, I could outrun the internal mess. Eating disorders aren't about vanity. They're self-compression. Eating disorders are always a way of saying, if I can shrink the outside, maybe I can silence the inside pain. But the pain gets louder until it screams and you have to do something about it. And you'll find for teenagers, when they've been bullied, mocked, ignored, or treated like they're too much, the body becomes the safest thing to blame. If the world feels unsafe, you don't try to change the world, you try to change yourself in the world. And that's how a survival strategy becomes a disorder. So Dr. Carolyn Costin said it best. The behavior isn't the enemy, it's just the messenger. And you don't shoot the messenger. And you don't heal by force. You heal when the body finally believes it no longer needs the disorder to survive. And for me, it was definitely never about food. It was literally one of the only things I could control when the world around me was going crazy. It was about trying to create safety in a body that didn't feel safe. So once you understand that, then the shame starts to dissolve, because it's just you looking for safety. So if your child is starving themselves on purpose, the question isn't why won't they eat? The question is, where did their body stop feeling safe? Because your child who is starving is not rejecting food. They're rejecting a world where their needs don't feel welcome. It's either from attack or from bullying, or in my case, I didn't feel safe because I was being abused. Eating disorders like anorexia, bulimia, or laxative abuse are not about willpower. They're about survival wiring. Your body was never the enemy. It was only the alarm system. And the reason I'm speaking up about all of these things now is because if I just help one person live a better life, this video was worth making.